So let's talk about an important deal. Entertainment, check. Quick cuisine, check. Magical interviews, check. Health tips, check. And great things in between. So, the deal is sealed. Your weekends are not the same without it.
Welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thank you for joining us.
Deal? Weekend Deal. Showing on the network service of NTA. Saturdays and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Weekend Deal. Africa's biggest deal.
That's right. A very good evening to you and welcome to this very special edition of The Ballot. We're reaching you live from the state headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission here in Abuja. Indeed, the beat is on, but I can tell you not everyone is dancing. As far as campaigns are on, the campaigns here have been fierce and the atmosphere has been tense, but of course, this is to be expected. Elections are highly competitive, and we do expect that the parties will keenly contest this election. Like I did say, the beat is on, but not everyone is dancing. Just earlier today, we had a twist thrown into the mix when the Federal High Court sitting here in Yoruba directed the Independent National Electoral Commission to disregard any list from the All Progressives Congress as regards the November 16 governorship election here in Bayelsa State. Of course, there have been reactions from chieftains, from the party itself, from the party leadership, and we've heard them talk about members of the party to still come out to participate in this election. We will be throwing up some of these issues as we look, as we bring you this very special edition of The Ballot. I have Fisayo Gufi standing on the other side of the divide in Lokoja as well. The Fisayo is in Lokoja and will be bringing us details and feelers from Lokoja with regards to the elections in Kogi State. Fisayo, how is the atmosphere there? But just before I come to you, Fisayo, I've got a guest here with me in our studio. He is Barrister Stanley Dami Bide. Is a constitutional lawyer, and with our barrister here, we will be looking at some of the legal issues that the recent court judgment has thrown up. Barrister Stanley, welcome to our studios here.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Great. Let's begin by asking you something widely known. I do know that the court does not give you what you do not pray for.
Exactly.
But yeah, we've seen the court giving the plaintiff, as it were, what he did not ask for. I do know that Senator Ainekin Lopobiri, who initiated this suit in the first place, asked that he be recognized as the duly elected candidate or flag bearer of the party. But instead, we have a court decision totally annulling the contest. What is this, or what does this translate to in law?
Well, this is one of the puzzles that will have to be resolved on appeal, because even the lawyer to Senator Heineken Lopobri expressed surprise that, hey, I came here to buy fish and I'm getting meat and not what I came for. Because it totally doesn't fall in line with the basic legal position regarding to what courts are supposed to make pronouncements on, when cases are brought before them. You do not go outside the reliefs being sought by either of the parties to give your judgment. If nobody went to ask for B and you are given B, it's a misnomer. But then it will take a fuller study of the judgment to understand why the judge had to reason that way and arrive at that conclusion. It's one of those things that I believe will be resolved on appeal, because it is completely not in sync with the basic norms regarding giving of judgments in matters before courts.
This is taking place actually less than 2 days to the conduct of the elections on Saturday. It brings to bear the debates over litigations, especially litigations pertaining elections and how they are resolved on the eve of elections or close to the elections proper. This is what is playing out here. Shouldn't we have a situation where litigations pertaining elections should be resolved well before elections are properly conducted?
I agree with you. It doesn't speak well of our system. But if you look at our history with regards to the practice of democracy, you find out that the key stakeholders have been taking deliberate steps, making efforts to ensure that some of these issues are addressed. Let's not forget that hitherto election petition matters could run for almost 4 years. But now there's an adjustment. I believe that this is one area that the stakeholders will also have to look into and say it can be addressed so that we can't be having this kind of judgments. Presently, you cannot circumscribe when a party should approach the court to ask for reliefs. Nobody can do that. And after that also arises the challenge of the judge or the court not being able to say, definitely this is when I can give my judgment. But I think in situations like this, common sense should ordinarily prevail. We shouldn't do things that will create a wrong impression, an impression that we shouldn't have at this stage of our democracy.
I'll take you outside of your field for a moment and then talk about internal democracy within political parties. This throws up the issue of internal democracy within, and it's been a raging campaign as it is for us. Would a situation where we have parties following laid down guidelines of course stipulated and by their constitutions, would it help in resolving ab initio some of these issues we see play out in court?
Naturally, it will. The rules are not ambiguous for the key actors to understand. But unfortunately, the spirit of desperation takes over and people who want to resort to shortcuts and all that. That is why we have this problem. The problem, like I always tell people, may not necessarily be with our laws. To a large extent, we have fairly well-defined provisions regulating how parties should conduct their primaries and all that. But when key players choose to go out of line, you see things like this happening.
Let's go back a few weeks when we had a court judgment, also somewhat disqualifying the deputy governorship candidate of the APC.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on the court's ruling on that matter?
Well, frankly, I think the court should have gone beyond the basics and tried to find out the jurisprudence behind the laws requiring that you have particular names. I think the intention of the law is to prevent a situation where someone will impersonate or be fraudulent with regards to misrepresenting what he isn't. But in this case, no person has come to say he is the owner of any of the certificates bearing those different names. So it is clear that mischief wasn't established against the deputy governorship candidates of the APC. It is also clear that it wasn't proved that he was impersonating any person. So what was left to be done was perhaps an affidavit to regularize the fact that all these names at different times belong to one and the same, and it's not a reflection of an attempt to impersonate or do mischief. But sadly, what was decided was decided. Again, it is one of the interesting puzzles that I'm looking at the appellate court or perhaps the Supreme Court to make definite pronouncements on.
I get a feeling that all of these developments would somehow dampen the morale of the voter out there. Do you get a feeling like that?
Naturally. We live with those people and we know the feeling. It's a good tool for propaganda for the opponents of the APC. It's a good tool, to sell perhaps the wrong story, to dampen the morale and the enthusiasm of the supporters of the APC to, continue with their support and be assured of the fact that, they are still on the ballot box.
Just before we continue, I would like to reach out to Fisayo in Lokoja. Fisayo Ogunfi, who's been standing by for a while. Is he ready? Do we have him there?
Thank you very much, Nnamdi. It was a matter of months. Later, it became a matter of weeks. Now we are counting the days and moving to the hours. Kogi will be decided again and in a couple of hours. Of course, historically, Kogi, but let's say specifically Lokoja, was the seat of power nationally at a time for a brief period. But that seat, Lugard House, retains its relevance here for the people of this state because it is the seat of government. It is what candidates are contesting for. Of course, it is the destination or the host of two big rivers who converged here in Lokoja. We're talking about Benue and Niger, but it is the people who will be converging on different polling booths and wards across the state in a couple of hours to determine exactly what they want their next 4 years to be politically. Of course, we have seen the rivers of Benue and Niger calling around the town and moving rather steadily and calmly. But how calm are the political waters? Let me welcome human rights and conflict resolution advocate Idris Miliki Abdul. What is the mood right here in Kogi State?
Okay, good evening, viewers. We thank God, we give glory to the God, like you said. It was a matter of months, 90 days. Specifically on the 16th of May, INEC rolled out a timetable to conduct governorship election in Kogi State, with several items, dates, and quotations of various positions of the law. And that's one thing great about INEC as an institution. It is creation of law. And every activity they intend to conduct, they quote Constitution. Moving on that, and the law of the country. In Kogi State now, the mood is the mood of, we are going to have an election. I want to accept the nation and the national community. The Kogi people are ready for this election in all ramifications. So we are ready. We have traveled the state. I just came back yesterday, having spent 3 weeks across the 9 federal constituencies and 3 senatorial districts, doing my own job, building the capacity of CBOs and community dialogue on election, but more specifically on anti-corruption, accountability and transparency in election. So the mood is the fact that we are all ready to face the election.
All right, let's take this one. You just spoke about the umpire and how thorough the umpire has been in terms of preparation and timelines. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has taken delivery of sensitive materials for both governorship and senatorial elections holding this Saturday in Kogi State. Of course, there is the senatorial elections in Kogi West. Let's take that reporter from Deborah Iyola Samuel.
And result sheets for the senatorial and governorship election were received by INEC officials Thursday morning. INEC Rec in Kogi State, Professor James Akpan, said the commission is ready for the election. He noted that security and other logistics have been arranged to ensure effective distribution of the materials to the various local government areas of the state. Responding to some of the fears of observers, especially in areas like Ibaji, affected by the recent flood incident, the INEC Rec has this to say.
A place like Ibaji, the EO has set stakeholder meetings with the people there, and if need be, they can move to dry land and do the collation as well as the voting.
Deborah Iyola, NTA News.
All right, Deborah, of course, and other reporters across the state will be giving us updates from the polling units. Of course, throughout the state, we have 6 stations across Kogi, from Anyigba to Ankpa to Okene to Yagba area, Kaba. So NTA is fully on ground there. Final words on the program from Kogi. What are your expectations?
My question is participation and inclusiveness. And INEC to be thorough as an umpire, security agent, should be professional. We, the observer, must also adopt
Observe
the
well.
ethics.
Observe well.
Then the journalists, no inflammatory statement, no speculative reporting.
All
no
right.
sensational
We
thing.
don't do that.
That is an advice.
All right, let me send you back to Nnamdi. Of course, we both have water. You can't intimidate me. We are here with Niger and Benue. Nnamdi is right there in Niger Delta. It's back to Nnamdi Odibo. We'll be back tomorrow to give you updates, news reviews, previews, and interviews on the NTA concerning these elections. You get it live and direct. We're signing out from here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Fisayo. Of course, that's very true. Very quickly, before we get back to Abuja, your final words on the elections. We've seen how things are playing out. We would like for you to just speak to the issue of the eagerness of the people of Bayelsa State to participate in this process.
Well, the enthusiasm is high and welcoming, but I just want to urge that we should not get overexcited. Let's see how we'll ensure that this enthusiasm will only motivate us to come out en masse to go vote at the different polling units. No violence, no trouble, because we want free and fair elections in Bayelsa State, and there's hope that that is going to be achieved come Saturday.
Free and fair elections, indeed. We do hope that we would have one that is free, fair, and credible as well. Well, that's it from here. That's it from us here in Bayelsa State in Yonogwa. We will officially open the Bayelsa The Site Studios here on Friday tomorrow. Please do join us as we do that. We will be covering the elections from every nook and cranny of the state. It's back to you in Abuja.